Welcome to Taking Care of Business on News Talk 1180 KERN for the best in Saturday Talk Radio at 1 o'clock and on 1230 KGEO at 10 o'clock Saturday. And for the best in Wednesday Talk Radio on 1410 KERI, the Christian station. We are now on 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and also on the Internet on knookmedium.com, serving Richmond, Oakland, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Your host is Clay Koerner, and I'm Marty Pay. Our producer is Greg Held. The famous author and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel once said, "The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, it's indifference." There is an event that occurred 70 years ago that's starting to fade into our collective memories. It's an event so horrible that it shouts out, "Remember, never forget, and don't let the indifference that allowed this to happen ever happen again." That event is the Holocaust, the extermination of over 6 million Jews by the Nazis during World War II. Our in-studio guest for the hour is a survivor of the Holocaust, local businessman Sam Young. Sam, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Nice to be here.
It's nice to have you, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. Yours is an important story that must be told, and I'm glad that you're here to tell it.
I will try to do my best to make myself understood by the people.
Okay.
Make yourself, what was that again?
Understood.
Oh, understood by the people.
Yeah.
Sam, it's good to meet you today.
It's a pleasure of meeting you.
It's
gentlemen.
a pleasure to be with someone who's a survivor.
That's luck.
Well, it may be luck, but at least
Nothing
you're
else
here.
but big luck.
Muzzle in
Muzzle in
Jewish.
So you're half Czechoslovakian and half Hungarian, is that correct?
Now, this is very, very difficult to really tell what I am, because at this time I consider myself American and not
Right.
Hungarian and not Czech. But I got here in 1946, so I lived my life mostly in the United States.
I was just curious which half was Hungarian and which half was Czech.
Now, I really can't answer it, but I am also Jewish. So
there you
if
go.
I am Jewish, then it's a mixture of everything.
Now, were you...
And you're American.
And I'm an American,
Yes,
that's right.
First and foremost, you're an American. But where you were born was part of the old Austro-Hungarian Empire, and then when it split up, it fell into Czechoslovakia.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
After the First World War, the place where we lived was Czechoslovakia.
Uh-huh. In which you and I've met a couple times off the air, but my stepfather was from a region not too far from you, Teplice in Czechoslovakia.
Teplice, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's his hometown. You went through the Depression there in that area. What was that like?
What do you
The
mean?
Depression?
Depression. What do you mean depression?
The Great Depression, in the 30s?
No money, no food.
No, I didn't experience that.
You didn't experience that? Okay.
I didn't experience that. In our place where we lived under the Carpathian Mountains in the flat area, which was a very agricultural area and a very prosperous area. And due to the fact that my father was a physician and my mother came from a farming family and she was a farmer, we didn't experience any problem as far as food is concerned.
Good.
Now, when your dad was a physician, did they have specialists, or were they just all general practitioners?
Now, there were some specialists, but my father was a general practitioner, and my father has a very unusual situation because he became a physician when he was 20 years old, when the First World War was still in process, and as soon as he got his diploma, he volunteered in the Austro-Hungarian army, and he got basically his training on the Russian front and doing whatever had to be done. So he was well versed in the medical field, and then when he married my mother, he went to Vienna to study under Freud. And so he was also a psychiatrist.
Under Sigmund Freud?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
Sigmund
that.
Freud.
Wow. Well, one thing you and I had talked about, because we've met, like I say, a couple times, and it's been a pleasure to talk with you. When did you first hear Adolf Hitler?
I first heard of Adolf Hitler in 1933 when I was 11 years old, and at that time there were very few radios in our town, but I remember that they set up a radio in front of the movie theater, and I spoke at that time German, and I was listening to Hitler's rattling, and when he has accused all the problems of the world on the Jews.
We're having a conversation with Sam Young, Holocaust survivor. Sam, when you and I talked about this earlier, you said nobody really took him seriously, even though he was criticized.
That's correct. Nobody took him seriously, even in my family. And because everybody was convinced that within 6 months' time there will be no Hitler and he will be all forgotten. Mm-hmm. And nobody believed that he will do the things what he did later.
Yeah, incredible.
Well, it's hard to believe the things that he did, and of course we just read about it. We don't, we weren't there, but you were actually there to witness many of those atrocities.
Yes. We lived with it from day to day.
Did you know any of the people or any of your friends or family get picked up by Hitler's group?
Oh, yes. In fact, it's quite interesting because in the particular town where we lived, the name of the town by the Czechs, it was called Szevlus, which came from the Hungarian word of szőlő. Szőlő means grapes, and because on the mountains of the exposure, of the southern exposure of the Carpathian Mountains had excellent grapes, mm-hmm. and so the town was named after grapevine, and by the Hungarians it was called Szőlős, by the Czechs it was called Szevlus, and now, which is under the Ukrainian, is called Vinogradova. Vino means wine, so by the Russian language it's called Vinogradova.
Now, question for you: when it came to, I know you were in Hungary, and that as far as the Holocaust, that wasn't until later in the war. But tell us about July 1941. That's an important time in your life and world history. What happened that month?
In 41 or 31?
41.
In 1941, my family was under the Hungarians, mm-hmm. and in July 1941, the Germans attacked Russia, mm-hmm. because Poland was divided in 1931 between Germany and Russia, and Hitler was very successful because by that time he conquered France and also had a very strong control over the western part mm-hmm. of Poland, and in July 1st, 1941, he attacked the part which was divided between him and Russia and started the war against Russia. And in July 15, the Hungarian police came to our house and was told that by certain orders we were supposed to be taken to the next town, which was called Hust, mm-hmm. but we will be taken only for 1 day, so that my parents should take only the necessary things for an overnight sleepover.
That turned out to be a lie, didn't it?
Beg your pardon?
Did that turn out to be a lie?
Yes, it was a lie because we didn't even stop. The trains didn't even stop in Hust. They put us in boxcars, and we were taken to a village by name of Jasina, which was in the Carpathian Mountains, and it was a lumbering yard. Mm-hmm. The train, by that time, there were possibly about 300 or 400 people in this train, and the train ran into lumber yard. It was evening by the time we got there, and we were put in that lumber yard. No food, no sleeping accommodation. There was sawdust on the ground, and kept overnight. Nobody told us. Nobody gave us anything. I don't even remember if we had water, but it was a shocking situation. In the morning, they took.
That's fine. When we come back from the break, let's pick up there, okay? We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180.